Good evening, class. Good evening, Professor. My name is Jomer Fernandez. This is my presentation with regards with supporting a single payer tax system curing most ills of the U.S. healthcare system, and I am on the fourth group. So initially, we will define what a single-payer tax system is. So according to healthinsurance.org, a single-payer system is a healthcare system in which one entity, in this case the government, a single payer, collects all healthcare fees and pays for all healthcare costs. So this has been a topic in the recent elections that I personally support, which I think will be beneficial to both uh, permanent residents, U.S. citizens alike, and healthcare workers.
First thing that I want to touch up on is the simplification of the US healthcare system. What that means for us as consumers is that there are less wait time, faster access to medical services, and a good possibility of lowering the cost of a lot of medical services, pharmaceutical drugs, and long-term disability and benefits. So the government will step up and negotiate the pay for pharmaceutical companies and private medical practices. That everyone who is enrolled in the program will have a baseline pay for pharmaceutical and healthcare services.
So, what that would mean is that we would not have to do those 30-minute phone calls of interacting with our HR through our employers. We don't have to go through hours of wait time for hospitals and medical practices, pharmacies, um, government programs, because the government will be the one uh, pipelining it so that our services would be faster. Thing is the flexibility. So, contrary to popular belief, a single payer tax system, all citizens would receive high quality, comprehensive medical care, plus the freedom to choose providers to a greater extent than most network based health plans allow. So there won't be any out of network fees. We don't have to double second guess ourselves if we should go to a practice or if they're in our network or what services we are able to get because most services are offered to us. Some may be optional with an additional fee, but most services are baseline. So a lot of people believe that once a single payer tax system is implemented, our taxes will skyrocket. However, no one denies that the funding will be taken from our taxes. a lot of data that I will show you in the few slides show that it will actually save us more money as the time progresses rather than costing us a lot more at the same time increasing our access to a lot of medical services.
So according to the CMS, the United States is the highest spender in healthcare. But despite that, we are spending more on healthcare, but visit the hospital and the doctor's office far less than a lot of other countries. A lot of experts argue is that a big part of the population do not care about preventative causes, rather treat conditions chronically. Licensed healthcare provider myself, I've seen a lot of people having more chronic conditions and suffer later in life rather than a lot of younger people who go to their doctors and visit regularly so that they have less costs in the future.
For Medicaid and Medicare services in 2017 estimated around $10,348 per person spending every year for their healthcare services. Compared to a lot of other countries, that is twice what they pay. So we need to ask ourselves, we are spending this amount of money, and in return, we are getting subpar treatment and slow access to our medical services. You have to get a 3 week appointment just to go to a dentist, or a month appointment just to get set up for podiatry, and then next thing you know, it's not feasible enough to even go. So going back to saving money, recently the Lancet, a peer-reviewed journal, had a lot of Yale epidemiologists did a study on an estimate of how much a single-payer tax system would benefit us. They have estimated a saving of $450 billion per year. So that kind of invalidates a lot of the propaganda against single payer tax system because it actually costs us less and gives us faster access to a lot of medical services. So it's a win-win situation on both ends. And another thing, with regards to one of our readings, actually, this was done by the Mercatus. They have estimated $2 trillion saving over the span of the next 10 years if we adopt a single payer tax system. So there are a lot of benefits for a single payer tax system if we adopt this in our country. Um, the three biggest things that I focused on in this presentation are the ones that I think benefits a lot of us. So these are like simplifying the process of accessing medical services and accelerating wait times for these services, having flexible options with regards with providers and where we get our services, and it saves money for us and helps government budget. So in conclusion, I think adopting the single payer tax system um, is really beneficial for a lot of people. Um, with regards to it, as a law, it is not perfect, that I will admit. However, I think implementing it is a step to a right direction, and modifying it to suit everyone um, will be closer than what we have right now, which is subpar services and really high cost of what I consider a right for everyone to have healthcare. All right, thank you, and have a good night.